Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the Age of Sigmar Regiments of Renown, the Sylvaneth box set, and asking, is this good for Warcry? I've just ordered the box set with my friendly local game store, linked down below, so I thought I'd make a video having a look at the models, and then going through all the fighter cards and abilities for Warcry. All the fighter cards and abilities that I go through in the video are available for free now from Games Workshop at the Warhammer community site. I'll put a link in the description down below. You can also download the full core rules for Warcry from there as well. So that's really awesome that these are made available, so check those out. So now let's get started having a look at these models up close. Before we do that though, I want to say a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Master of Miniatures. They make some amazing models. I've had a bunch of them that I've featured here on the channel. I've recently bought this guy. I play him as a troll in my Blood Bowl Snotling team, but they do some great models for Dungeons and Dragons, Blood Bowl. Warcry would be fantastic for these, so I definitely recommend checking them out. I love how they shine a light on their partner sculptors so you know exactly who's creating each of the models, and the quality's fantastic. There's a link in the description down below, and I can't recommend them enough. Right, let's have a look at this box set, the Sylvaneth Elthwin's Thorns. Altogether, 6 miniatures in here, including the Druanti Arch Revenant, and you've got the Gossamid Archers. Fantastic sets, both of these. Buying them individually, certainly going to add up. We'll have a look at the price later on, but the sculpts on these I think are really well done. I've had my eye on both of these for a long time. I was priced out, to be fair. It was just a little bit expensive for my taste, but now we can get them at a discounted price. I put an order in straight away, and I've got to say I'm pretty excited to start getting back into Warcry a little bit more now. I think these are going to be the warband that are going to help me do that. I'm also playing Age of Sigmar now, starting to, with my Stormcast, and I really like the idea of adding this little unit in there as well. So if you were to pick these up individually, you'd be paying £35 for the Gossamid Archers and £24 for Druanti. So all up £59 in total, but now they've put them in this bundle box set, you can certainly make a good saving on those prices. So here I've gone through the UK price, confirmed at £42.50, €55, and then from those confirmed prices we can estimate the US is going to be around $70, Australia $105, New Zealand $125, Canada $85, and Japan 8.8 thousand yen. But of course we want to be getting our saving from our friendly local game store or online retailers between 10 and 20%. That's going to make this £36 to £38 for the models, and I think for the quality of them, including Druanti in there, I'm really happy for this price. This suits me and is a great way to get an almost full 1,000 points worth of Warcry models, and we'll look at the points value later on. Let's have a look at the fighter cards then. So the Arch Revenant Druanti is 260 points. It's got a nice movement 10, toughness 4, 25 wounds. You can see a load of rune marks there, including the leader rune mark. And then for the weapon, we've got a range of 2, making 4 attacks, strength 4, dealing 2 to 5 points of damage. As far as points go, quite pricey. It's going to be a quarter or a little over a quarter of your 1,000 point limit for the warband. But still, what an awesome looking model. I really like the stats. That movement's great. She can fly as well. Certainly going to get around the table pretty quickly. And yeah, I like the damage output there as well. But the abilities are really what make these interesting characters come to life. So let's have a look at the abilities they come with. Here we've got the hero abilities. So as a leader, the Arch Revenant is going to be able to access 2 of these abilities. First is a double called Zephyr Sprite's Tail Pincers, and second a triple which is called Call to Battle. If you've never played Warcry before or seen these cards, the way you decide which hero abilities they can use are all to do with the rune marks from their fighter card. So you can see that the Arch Revenant has actually got 4. The one with the black background is the Sylvaneth faction rune mark, and then you've got the hero rune mark. It used to be called the leader rune mark, so sometimes I'll refer to it as the leader rune mark. Then they've also got the destroyer rune mark and the fly rune mark. Let's have a closer look at this first one, Zephyr Sprite's Tail Pincers. Here, you'll pick a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter and roll a dice. On a roll of 3+, allocate 3 damage points to that fighter. So a great way to get in close, deal some points, and potentially here with this might be good if there's a fighter who's only got a couple of points left, maybe 2 or 3 points left, and you want to zip in and do some extra damage with this ability and then maybe fly off again and get out of the way. So that could be a nice tactic to try out. The second hero ability is a triple called Call to Battle, and until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee attack actions made by visible friendly fighters while they are within 6 inches of this fighter. Now this might not be great when you're pairing her up with the... I keep calling her. I'm assuming it's a her, I'm not really sure. But anyway, let's not go there. If you're playing the Gossamed Archers, they're going to be more ranged attacks. So yeah, you don't really want to pair that up. So it certainly will be a good idea, I think, to mix up the fighters and not just go with these thick 6, but maybe add to them. But we'll go into that a little bit more later on. The Arch Revenant has also got access to the Sylvaneth fighter abilities and a reaction as well, but I'll cover those once we look at the Gossamed fighters so we don't repeat ourselves. So let's have a look at the Gossamed Archers now. Out of this set of 5 Gossamed Archers, in Warcry you can take one of those models and use them as a Flitwing Scion. This is a leader character or hero character, so this is one option you can go with if you wanted to. This is going to be a little bit more in the points department when comparing it against a regular Gossamed Archer, so you're looking at 170 points. Got a nice movement 10, again, toughness 3, 15 wounds, so not very tough. Then you're looking at a range of 3 to 10 for the attack, so minimum 3, maximum 10. This is your ranged weapon. 3 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 4 points of damage. And you've got a second weapon option, so if you do get in close, you've got a range 1, 2 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 3 points of damage. But really, you want to be using the ranged weapon here. For the rune marks, you've got the faction rune mark, hero rune mark, fly, and trapper rune mark. So you're going to get a different ability here. Before we take a look at that ability, let's have a look at the Gossamed Archer fighter card, because they also have the Trapper rune mark, so we'll get that too. So they're 130 points, movement 10, toughness 3, and 10 wounds each. They've got the Sylvaneth rune mark, fly, and Trapper rune mark. They've got 2 weapons. First one is ranged, again 3 to 10 range. Only 2 attacks though, strength 3, dealing 1 to 4 points of damage. And up close, range of 1, 2 attacks, strength 3, 1 to 2 points of damage. So not putting an awful lot of damage out, but as you'll see with the abilities in a moment, we can certainly add to that. But really you're using them for their range and for their speed, because that movement 10 is brilliant in Warcry. You can get around the board really quickly. Let's take a quick look at the abilities and reactions, and the Flitwing Scion and Gossamed Archers get the same. They get the Vengeful Spites reaction, which the Druanti Arch Revenant could also use. But they've also got the double draw from the Spirit Song fighter ability. Again, Druanti can use that one too. But the one that the Flitwing Scion and the Gossamed Archers have that no one else does is the Larval Shafts. That's another double. Let's take a look at this reaction then. So this is open to every model with the Sylvaneth rune mark, so they don't need any other rune marks to use this. And this is the reaction called Vengeful Spites. A fighter can make this reaction after they are targeted by a melee action, but before the hit rolls are made. For each hit roll from that attack action that hits, allocate 1 damage point to the attacking fighter. For each critical hit, allocate 2 damage points to the attacking fighter instead. I really like this reaction. I think it's really interesting, certainly making up for the lack of strength and toughness there, but they can really have a little sting going on if they do get attacked or caught up in melee, because really they do want to be keeping their distance. But if they ever get pinned down and someone moves in with engagement range, they have got some defense there that they can use. Next we've got the ability, again only the Sylvaneth rune mark here, so any members of the warband with this rune mark can use this. It's a double called Draw from the Spirit Song, and here remove a number of damage points allocated to this fighter up to the value of this ability. This is brilliant. This is certainly going to make up for the fragility of these guys, and you know, if you're getting a double, there's a really good chance with your wild dice you can make this a 5 or 6. That's going to come up quite a lot. So having to add that many damage points back on, I think is brilliant. So these are going to be pretty hard to shift if you can keep putting that on, and there's a good chance you're going to get a few doubles every round, so you've really got some good opportunities to buff up their damage points there. Now we're on to the second ability. This is a double called Larval Shafts, and this one is with the Sylvaneth and Trapper rune mark. Add half the value of this ability, rounded up, to the strength characteristic of the next missile attack action made by this fighter in this activation. Now this I really like, because we saw that they're not all that strong, so if you can again get a 5 or 6, you can round that up to 3, add that to their strength characteristic, and then there's potential for some serious damage going on. So I really like this, and it's a double, so you could have a couple of goes maybe each round as well. We've got one more ability to take a look at. This is the hero ability for the Flitwing Scion. This is a quad called Envoy of the Everqueen, and it comes with the hero rune mark and the Sylvaneth rune mark. Until the end of the battle round, add half the value of this ability, rounding up to both the toughness and strength characteristics of friendly fighters while they are within 6 inches of this fighter. Now this is quite good. It's a quad, so it's not going to come off all that often, and potentially if it's low dice value, it's not going to be all that brilliant. But if you can get a high quad, this could be a really good one if you include the Flitwick Scion amongst your Gossipid Archers as their hero. That could be really good, because if they're all pretty close together, then they could do some serious damage with the strength characteristic being added there. But are you really going to be that close to the other models with the fly rune mark? I don't think you will. I think you want to spread those out really. But, you know, it's an option and perhaps something fun to try out. I would definitely want to split this up and add some other models and different fighter types into the warband. But if you wanted to buy this just to give it a go, then you're going to get 910 points as a minimum from this box set. And that's certainly enough to have a game of Warcry with. If you do have some other models lying around in the collection, then a Tree Revenant is going to take it up to 975. So that could be another option too, just to get closer to the 1,000 point mark. I'd certainly be looking at getting a Kurnoth Hunter in there somehow, maybe the Great Bow, the Scythe, or the Great Sword. Certainly there's some fantastic models and great fun to play, really tough customers as well, and they do a bit more damage. But then you've got Spite Revenant, Tree Revenant and Dryad as your chaff units. And by using these, you'll open up more abilities. I really like the Tree Revenant triple Walk the Spirit Paths, where you can remove the fighter from the battlefield and set them up anywhere on the battlefield floor more than 5 inches from enemy fighters. Great for when you want to steal objectives and things like that. So definitely worth thinking about all the other fighter types. These are the chaff ones. We've seen the Great Hunters, but there's 3 others that we could look at adding now as well. We've got the Spite Rider Lancer, Revenant Seeker, and Branch Nymphs too. If you buy these models, you'll also be able to make the hero versions of these characters as well. So lots of options. I think the Sylvaneth are really fun. They certainly look great. And now we've got these new models included that we saw coming out for Age of Sigmar last year. I think they're really fun. So I can't wait to get hold of this box set and get stuck into Warcry a bit more. I hope you enjoyed the video and this gave you a good idea about what this set would be like for Warcry and how you could fit it into your warband. I'd love to know your thoughts on this box set. Is this something you're interested in? What are your thoughts for it for Warcry? Let me know in the comments section down below. But I can't wait to get mine built and get it from my friendly local game store, the Little Shop DVD and Games, link in the description down below. And I'm going to be using them in some narrative battle reports that I'll be bringing to the channel once we hit our 100 Patreon member target. So I can't wait to get to that target. The battle reports are something I've really wanted to do on a frequent basis, but to make it sustainable, I really do need the help of my Patreon. So once we get to that 100 point mark, expect to see them on the channel frequently. I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you so much for watching. If you did like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and don't forget to hit that notification bell too to join me here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to end with a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate your support right from the beginning, helping me to keep going with these daily videos, and I can't wait to start delivering on those narrative battle reports coming as soon as we hit our target.